Here with men's tennis coach Jeff Halberg. Coach, hard to believe that we're talking about the end of the regular season here coming up this weekend. Two big MIAC matches against St. John's and Macalester, both of them here at the Winona Tennis Center. Talk a little bit in terms of the importance of these two matches, because I know that there are still MIAC tournament implications that are sitting in these two matches.
Yeah, the conference is really close, kind of in those last spots right now. We've got 6 teams that get in, and probably the first 3 are tied up at this point, but 4 through 6 are open, and there's basically about 5 teams vying for those 3 spots. So we're one of them. If we were to beat St. John's and Macalester, usually that gets you in. Now we've suffered setbacks before where the ladies a couple of years ago, they've actually twice in 3 years we got knocked out on a tiebreaker, which can happen when you have other people kind of beating up on each other, and that's so typical in this conference because it's such a tough conference to play in. But we go forward just going, we can only control what we control, and so we're just determined to protect our house and see if we can get those wins on Friday, Saturday. There's certainly not going to be gimmies. Mac and St. John's have really, both teams have been playing very well over the last month, especially. And of course, they're both determined to get in. We knocked Mac out of the conference tournament last year, and so I know they'd like to get a little revenge. And with St. John's, they've been in many years in a row now, and this is the first time in a while that they've actually been on the bubble where they may not make it. And so they're determined, of course, to not let that happen. So it'll be very good matches on Friday and Saturday.
When you talk a little bit about Saturday's match, it's also, along with what you have on the line, you've also got the emotional aspect of it being senior day. You have 2 graduating seniors that will be playing their last home tennis match on Saturday in Gavin Smith and Nick Castle. Talk a little bit about those 2 individuals. It's a senior day is always a special day for the seniors, and I think it's kind of important to get a little perspective from you in terms of these 2 fine individuals.
Sure. Well, I'll start with Gavin. Gav, he's been with me for 4 years. He came in kind of in a unique situation where he was in a class of his own. Literally, he was the only guy in the class. And it was a funny adjustment at first because the team that he came into was a pretty established and confident bunch of guys. And Gav is a quiet guy to begin with. He doesn't stay that way once you get to know him, but he starts out that way. And so, we couldn't get the real feel for Gav at first, but when we got down on spring break, he kind of opened up a little bit, and they got to know him a little better. And then, of course, just by luck, that the end of that year, we went to England, and he just bonded so well with the guys. And by the end of that freshman year, he was absolutely solidly a part of the guys, and really very much an SMU tennis guy. I mean, he was really very confidently a part of that, and he's always had a great talent. He can hit a ball hard. He can hit all the shots, and so he's got a lot of tools. The trick for him was that he was kind of a latecomer to the game, so it was more of a confidence issue of believing in the talent he had, and that took a little while to get through. Especially, in some conferences he would have done really well from the outset, but in the MIAC they take no prisoners, and he took a beating for a couple of years where he just had to get through it, but. The key was, we always talk about you got to get the experience so that you can actually come through in the big matches when it matters. And I think probably the defining time, ironically, one of the defining matches probably was the last match of last year for him in the regular season. When we went to Macalester, we had to clinch that. We had to win that match to clinch the conference tournament bid, and Gavin won his match. And it was just a huge a weight off his shoulders, I think, because though he played very good tennis before that, I don't think he'd ever really felt like he was a reliable person all the time. He couldn't always predict what he'd give us. But that day, he was determined to make things happen, and he played just spectacularly well and won the match. We were so pleased for him, and of course the team was celebrating stuff. So that was really neat to see. And the nice thing that's kind of carried into this year is that Gavin he's captain of the team. He's become a really good leader, and I think that taking on that role has in some ways maybe taken pressure off him. He doesn't think about himself and worry about his own results as much, and he just puts in the fight for the team. and he's had a spectacular year. So, Gavin's just done really well. I'm so pleased for him. Nick, the interesting thing is, his older brother played for me. Brian played for me, and so when Nick came in, he was a little unsure of what he wanted to do with school, so he decided not to play freshman year. He was worried about school, and so he concentrated on that. He's a real serious student. But he missed it, and he and Gavin are friends from high school. They were doubles teammates, and so they basically talked, and I talked to him, and he decided to come out sophomore year. We'd had a few people graduate, and our numbers were a little lower, and we really could use his help, and he stepped up. He just was like, "I'm there. I'll be there for you guys," and he did a great job. Junior year, he had a lot of things come on his plate, and he decided to take a step away again. But senior year came, and we kind of approached him again and said, we missed you. We'd really like you to play, and he was like, I want to play. I want to be there with the team. And so Nick's been. It was great that he was really able to step up and help the team, and he's been critical to us. He and Gavin have played some big doubles matches. I mean, early in the year they played against Norberts and got a huge win, and then of course none of us will ever forget their victory over Gustavus. That was so much fun to watch. One of the best moments I've ever had in tennis is watching those two beat the Gustavus 3 team. That was so exciting for them, and the guys were all cheering and stuff like that. And it was just kind of a great way for them to kind of put an exclamation point on their career. So it was really cool.
And they get to close out that regular season on Saturday against Macalester. And before you play the Macalester Scots, you've got St. John's on Friday night. Both matches are here at the Winona Tennis Center. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.